Hello everyone, I'm Best Buy Games here, and I wanted to give you a new review. I'm sorry I have been gone for so long. I was sick, and actually I got really sick just as I was about to upload a new video. So that got much worse really quick, and it just went on and on for a while. No, but enough with that. I wanted to introduce you to a brand new month that we're doing. In the background you can see the review that's about to go on. But I'm going to do Telltale Weekend. I'm going to be reviewing some games that I believe deserve more recognition. And Telltale games typically do get a lot of recognition for what they do, because they are a great company after all. Oh, and Walking Dead, an example of stuff that everyone enjoys. But there are a few games out there of theirs that aren't as recognized as should be, and aren't supported quite enough. I will talk about that later though. Oh, and now on to the review. Hello everyone, I'm Best Buy Games here, and here's my objective review on The Walking Dead Season 1. This is going to be one of the few times where I review a Telltale game, and I won't review it episode by episode, because I bought the full disc version of this a couple months back, and I finally got to playing it, and I enjoyed so much of it. And while I'm still on topic, I would like to introduce my new system of reviewing. It's the 5-star system. That's how I'm going to rate games. And I also have a system for saying if a game does get a low score, that you should still check it out. But back onto The Walking Dead. We have The Walking Dead, and this is one of the few games in a long time that have gotten me actually emotionally invested into anything. Because I'm usually one of those people, I'll crack jokes for an entire game. I was playing The Last of Us, and this angered a lot of people when I told them this. I was cracking jokes throughout the entirety of that, and did not take a single point of the plot of that game seriously. As well as my PlayStation 3 has finally given up and died, so that will not be there very much longer. And I didn't like that game, but still, sorry, keep going off topic. And with all that, I would like to say that for the first start, we are going to have to do something a bit more. First off, we have the story, which is pretty much all this game has to offer, other than the pointing and clicking. With the story, you have the amazing tale of Lee trying to help Clementine. Lee, a 30-something-year-old man who's in the beginning in a cop car, seemingly being taken to prison because he's supposedly murdered his wife. But not just that. As he's being driven there in the road, they come across a zombie. This zombie, they hit into it, they'll go off the road, the cop dies, and Lee has an injured leg. This will set off the entirety of all plot points to come, as because of this, he will hurtle over a fence, narrowly escaping a horde of walkers, with quotation marks, because we all know they're zombies, but they'll insist they're walkers, and even different people call them different things throughout the entire disc. But back onto it. He will see Clementine, and because of this, he'll go through an abandoned house. And find no one there except for a walkie-talkie, which will reveal Clementine. You can play all of up to that in the demo, so I'm not really spoiling anything that you can't enjoy right away. Plus, this game is from 2012. I'm pretty sure I'm not ruining very many experiences for that many people. But I'm not going to spoil the rest. But we do have some supporting characters that will show up throughout the rest. My personal favorite being Omid, Krista, and Kenny. 3 of them seem to get a lot of plot point recognition, and there are so many others, but those were my personal favorites because they seemed the most realistic in the struggles, and I supported them the most throughout the entirety of my gameplay. Now on to the second part, we have gameplay, which is the second star, of course, and this will equal up to just pointing, clicking, occasionally quick time events, and every now and again in the later game you will find yourself in first-person shooter sections. Don't think anything of it. You're standing still, moving a still gun, and it's locked at the exact angle of walker heads. So do with that what you will in your mindset. But with all that said, I'd say the gameplay stands up pretty well, especially with the dialogue choices that will give you the entirety of it, changing everyone's opinion on you. You can get to the end of the game and have tons of people supporting you, trying to get to you. And it is so emotional, the ending, and I do not want to spoil it. I will probably do a bit with the ending later, but I'll give you a spoiler warning, and you can tell me, you can just skip ahead, okay? So, with all that, we also have the investment that the story will have to come to. The investment is extremely high, as this is one of the few games to where you actually feel and care for a child. Well, the whole game is basically a huge escort mission, but don't think of it as one of the bad ones. It is an amazing one, as you have a little girl that can hold her own against things and will become much more powerful. Well, and this will even lead into Season 2, which I will review the first episode of later. So, with all that, we will have to finally move on to the 4th star. With the 4th star, I'm sorry I keep pausing, but with the 4th star, we are going to have to go into replay value. This game, it sort of has it. This one, I'm kind of going to have to hold back from. And with that, it's just because everything revolves around choices, and most of the time it's 1 to 2 choices, usually resulting in one person's death over another's. And it's not really going to change a whole lot because everything's on a preset path. Even when you look at the pictures for each episode, it'll show the 2 people that'll have the biggest importance in the story for that episode. So you aren't going to be seeing a whole lot of variance with your decisions, and you'll quickly recognize that. But it'll feel important in the moment while you are playing. So, that one I cannot quite give. Finally, we are on to the last star, everybody, and this is the opinion. In my opinion, this is completely earned and entirely just to every bit of good words said about it. I have very little complaints about it, other than occasionally getting lost in what looked like background that you could turn out. It turned out magically to just be an opening that you could only walk through from a certain angle. Episode 3 gave me the most trouble with that one, especially in an area with a bridge, where there's an area that clearly looks like the background, and I spent hours walking up and down the bridge looking for some way to get rid of obstructing plot point number C. Yes, with all that, though, I will have to say that The Walking Dead Season 1 will earn 4 out of 5 stars. Unfortunately, the replay value isn't very high with this one, but I will give it my excellent seal of approval, and if you will pay attention, I would say that it earns very much that. I mean, this game is wonderful. It got me into the Telltale games. All I had to do was play a little bit of Season 1, and I've seen tons of people criticize it. Even my own brother criticized it, but mostly because he plays nothing but Call of Duty, which I find a bit hypocritical. But, back on the point, I would say that this deserves its final score in every single way. Go out and buy it if you can, and if you can't, just download the demo, see if you enjoy it. If not, there's even the first episode of all of the Telltale games, almost, completely free. All the really good ones. You can get the first episode free. And there's a couple cases where you have to buy it, but I'd say it's worth it entirely, because they'll just charge you a small, tiny little amount. And I've spent upwards on every hour of maybe every episode. I've spent at least maybe 5 to 6 hours on them, because I would go through and point my way through everything, making sure to talk to everyone, make sure everyone's okay, do everything I could to keep my group alive. Unfortunately, with me, and here comes a spoiler warning, and this will be going all the way through for a little bit. Right, so for those of you that choose to skip, I'm now going to be revealing a bit of the ending. So go ahead and turn off the video or go ahead and skip ahead, because there's your warning. Now that I have that done, and I'm going to tell you that by the ending, you have everyone in your group that you've seen. Maybe you're down to like 4 people, which I was, and they all die off one by one on this huge struggle to go get Clementine from this murder that comes from episode 2. Yes, they will actually go back and reference that. A small little thing that a lot of people would overlook and just say, oh hey, free supplies. The guy who was behind it, everyone in his family died because your group took those supplies. That was why I had to give you the spoiler warning. It reveals everything about the plot all at once, how everything was interconnected. And Clementine had been talking to him through her walkie-talkie, which she had been keeping because of the memory of her parents that came with it. And with all that, finally, you end up finally Clementine will have to either leave Lee in a locked bank, or he will become a walker because he's been bitten, or Clementine will have to shoot him so that he won't become a walker because he's been bitten. After being traumatized by her parents, she finally finds them, and they will be walkers as well, standing at the end of the street. I am Best Buy Games, and please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you have not, if you want to see more. Well, thank you so much for watching this, and I am signing out. Thank you, and goodbye.